Denise. Denise. It's Denise. It's Denise. It's Denise. Denise. It's a podcast party. It's a podcast party. It's a podcast party.
I gotta say, I feel like we're besties now after this. What's up, guys? It's Denise Salcedo. Hey there, everyone. Welcome to the show. Sorry about the delay, everybody. I was getting all of this all set up, and before I knew it, I was like, oh no, it's time to go live. But welcome to today's show. It is August 30th. We're going to be talking about WWE NXT 2.0 as we are each and every single Tuesday. And thank goodness there's actually a lot to talk about here today. We got so much to go over. Personally, I'm like pretty excited about it because it doesn't feel like NXT is the forgotten like stepchild anymore. Like today's show kind of felt like there was something to get excited about. Obviously, we were in the build to Worlds Collide, which is happening this Sunday. So we got a lot of cameos from a lot of the main roster stars that appeared and kind of gave like some words of encouragement to some of the people in the bigger matches of the night. And I kind of like that because it gave it like a big fight feel where like all these other people are taking interest in the outcome of these matches that are happening at Worlds Collide. So personally, I was kind of glad that they did all of this. I thought this was a fun episode of NXT 2.0, and I think it's officially 2 weeks now, back to back, that we've had some pretty entertaining episodes by the NXT 2.0 standard, I would say. So let's go ahead and get right into the show. But first and foremost, before we kick things off, just a couple of announcements to get out of the way first. So first and foremost, as you guys know, I am live 3 times a week on the channel. This week is kind of a crazy week because of All Out. I will be in Chicago for All Out. So I will be here obviously today to do NXT. Tomorrow, I will be back to do AEW Dynamite. And then on Friday, I will be at GCW, so I won't be here for Smackdown Rampage, but I will be at GCW, so that's going to be pretty exciting. On top of that, I will be, just covering all the events that are taking place in Chicago for AEW All Out, so I'm very much looking forward to that, and a bunch of other stuff that, are in, like, just happening or whatever, it's going to be a good time. Also, if you guys want to send in any super chats at any point, you are more than welcome to. Not only does your comment, question, statement, rant, whatever it is that you want to say, get on the air here, but it also helps support the show, as F4W Online does allow me to keep 100% of the proceeds after YouTube takes their cut. But now, let's kick things off with our first super chat of the day. This is from Darth Steven C777, who says, lots to talk about and good luck this week, Denise. Dude, this week is going to be, you know what? I'm not even going to say that this is going to be a crazy week because it kind of is a crazy week, but I'm not going to lie to you. I'm kind of getting used to these weeks where there's just like so much going on. And I kind of like it that way. I would actually be a little bit bummed out if there was like nothing going on for me. I would kind of be a little bit depressed about it. But no, there's a lot happening. I'm really excited. We got the F4W Q&A. I'll be there. I got the 2 GCW shows that I'm ring announcing. I'm still going to be doing podcasts from the hotel and, just a bunch of other little stuff here and there. So personally, I like weekends like this. It makes me feel good. But thank you so much to Darth Steven C777 for getting us started. Here we go. Let's go ahead and continue on with this show. Let's see what we got here. Let's kick things off with the cameos, everyone. So that's the one thing that I think a lot of people are going to be wanting to talk about here today. We're going to go through them more in depth, but I will let you know that some of the people that we saw throughout the show here today included Finn Balor, Doudrop and Nikki ASH, Butch, Pete Dunne, but via video call, Shayna Baszler, Rhea Ripley, Tommaso Ciampa, Gunther, and Ricochet. So we'll talk about those individually as we move forward with today's show. All right, so let's get into the first match of the night, which was Apollo Crews and Grayson Waller. So one of the things that we were talking about in previous shows in regards to this feud between Crews and Waller is that this definitely feels like something that we are going to be seeing multiple times, not just like a one-off match or anything like that. Especially given their like promo exchange that they had last week that got really, really salty and really, really good when you had Grayson Waller essentially telling Apollo Crews that he had to be demoted to NXT 2.0 because he couldn't cut it on Raw or SmackDown. And so things got really savage on that end of things. So I really liked how they did that. Now, this match itself, it felt like really, it felt really quick. It felt very, very quick. I think that they should have gone a little bit longer with this match. Personally, I think given like, I don't think that they necessarily followed it up in a way that their promo the week prior, it deserved more. Given everything that was said, there was some real fighting words there between Crews and Grayson Waller. I think I would have liked to see that anger incorporated a little bit more into this actual matchup. So this was a fine match. It was okay. It was a solid little opener, but I don't necessarily think that it did the promo from the week prior justice. But regardless, I hope that they still continue this with Apollo Crews and Grayson Waller because I really do think you can keep telling this story. On top of that, I've said it once and I'll say it again. Apollo Crews going to NXT 2.0 is legitimately really working out for him. It feels like one of the best things that has happened for him. I loved all of the clotheslines that he hit Grayson Waller with. And he feels like more intense on NXT 2.0. Grayson Waller did end up getting the win with the cutter, and that felt kind of weird too. When Grayson Waller hit the cutter, it didn't feel like the finish to me. Like I thought we were going to get a near fall and still get like maybe 3 or 4 more minutes or whatever to this match, but it ended up ending there. So I did kind of feel a little taken aback by that. But regardless, this is obviously not the end of Grayson Waller and Apollo Crews. Alrighty, let's go ahead and continue on from here, guys. We got people putting over, saying it was a solid little opener as well. Bobby C says, good sell on the accidental eye poke to help set up the win via cutter/eye poke. We got a comment here from Drew Scott who says Waller is the guy from HS we just wanted to punch right in the face. Oh, in high school. I'm like, HS? I'm like, what are we talking about here? Yeah, high school for sure. That's the thing about Waller too. And I was thinking about this today while I was watching this match is whenever his time comes for him to go to the main roster, I legitimately feel that he's gonna thrive pretty well because he's pretty entertaining on the mic, I think. And he's also pretty good in the ring too. He has decent matches. I think he has what it takes to be, especially he's very easy to dislike. He plays the heel role very, very well. So I feel like he's going to have a good time whenever his main roster opportunity comes about. We got a super chat here from Enrique Jr. Thank you so much to Enrique who says, any chance Tyler Bate wins? Also, I haven't been watching 2.0 until recently. Why are Cowboys the UK tag team champions? Okay, so like, here's the thing, like about all of this, like first and foremost, in regards to Tyler Bate, we've kind of, I was going to do like predictions later on, but I might as well just say it now. To me, and I know for the more popular opinion I feel is that a lot of people think that Braun Breaker is going to be called up to the main roster and that this is really the opportunity for him to lose the championship, have Tyler Bate win, have Tyler Bate kind of like, take over that spot as Braun Breaker actually moves on over to the main roster. Now, that's the popular opinion. It feels like the direction they may be headed in, especially with a lot of like people coming out and saying like, oh, don't underestimate Tyler Bate just because he's small and this and that. So I kind of hope, personally, I hope that is what happens. I would like to see Braun Breaker go on and move on to the main roster. There's definitely a good spot to use him, whether they put him on Raw or on SmackDown. There's opportunity there, clearly. And as for Tyler Bate, I think this could be like a real opportunity just for there to be like something different happening on NXT 2.0, and Tyler Bate could be that different type of champion. So we'll see what ends up happening. And in regards to Briggs and Jensen, Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen being the tag team champions, that's exactly why Gallus is pissed off, and Gallus wants the championship belts back on them. Enrique, thank you so much for the super chat. I really thank you for that. All right. So let's go ahead and continue on from here. And we got more people basically saying that they're counting on a Tyler Bate win as well. But we'll see, guys. We will see. All right, moving on from here. After this, we got a pretty good video package for Mako. I really liked it. It was just a nice little, this is who she is. This is what she's accomplished in her life. If you haven't watched NXT 2.0, since I see a couple of people here are new to NXT 2.0, they have really good video packages when it comes to this. And we'll talk about more as we move forward with this show. But let's get into the first appearance of the night. So the first cameo that we got was Finn Balor. So Finn comes out and basically confronts Braun Breaker. And at this point, I'm thinking like, what's happening? Is this going to be like a thing? Like, is this going to be what's happening here? Like I didn't know at this point of the show where they were going with, because he was the first cameo. So Finn Balor comes out and he basically tells him like, look, dude, do not underestimate your opponent. Tyler Bate is obviously a smaller guy. We already know that. So Finn Balor basically said, I've beaten guys twice my size. Do not underestimate your opponent. And then he basically just tells them, just don't underestimate your opponent. Damn. And and I'll tell you why I like this. I'm going to tell you why. I liked this because it made sense, because Finn Balor is also not a big guy. We know that. And for him to basically go out and tell Braun Breaker, like, don't count out the small guy, I liked that. I really, really did. So this was a fun little interaction. And then part of me kind of wonders, like, you know what? If we were to see Braun Breaker go over to the main roster, already I feel like there could be something there with like him and the Judgment Day if they were to do this literally based off of this single interaction with Finn Balor, where Finn Balor could be like, see, bro, I told you not to underestimate your opponent because look at you now. You ain't champion anymore. I don't know. That's kind of where my mind was going when they first did this cameo with Finn Balor and Braun Breaker. So anyways, this was good stuff there, guys. Very happy that they brought in Finn there. All right, let's see what people are saying here about this. We got people putting over the segment with Finn. I think it was good stuff, guys. It was good stuff. All right, moving on to the women's tag team picture here. Things got interesting. And all right, so let me start off by saying, first and foremost, we got Kaden and Katana taking on Ivy Nile and Tatum Paxley. The match itself was really nothing. Like there's honestly nothing to even talk about in regards to the match, other than Katana doing her 630, which always looks really amazing. Okay, it always looks impressive. Cool. There's nothing else really to say other than they picked up the win. What I do want to talk about, because this was also unexpected, was they get on the mic and Katana starts basically saying how they've beaten every single team there is to beat in NXT, that there's nobody left. So they're like, well, we're going to throw a party because clearly we're going to have the day off and there's nothing to do. But just before they can go about announcing more details about their party, all of a sudden, Dewdrop comes out, and then Nikki ASH comes out. And so I'm thinking, what the hell is going on here? And this is the point where they get into the ring and they basically end up making this match official. We're going to be getting Dewdrop and Nikki challenging for the NXT Women's Tag Team titles against Kaden and Katana. So first and foremost, like, here's the thing. My prediction on this is you can't have Dewdrop and Nikki ASH lose to them. I'm sorry, you just can't. I don't feel like you can have them lose to Kaden and Katana. Like, I mean, unless they do the whole, because here's the thing. Straightforward, I don't think they can lose to them. But if you guys remember on Raw, we had that whole moment where Dewdrop and Nikki ASH were not on the same page. They were kind of beefing with one another a little bit. In terms of beefing, they were having a quarrel. They were arguing behind the scenes. We were seeing just them like yell at each other. We don't know what they were saying, but we were seeing them in the background. So I'm thinking, okay, the only way for them not to win the titles here and defeat them is if they do the whole their favorite angle, Doudrop and Nikki can't coexist, and this is how they lose the titles to how they don't win the titles from Kayden and Katana. So that's what I'm expecting. Either they win and they become NXT Women's Tag Team Champions and they start appearing on NXT more often. I'm either expecting that or I'm expecting them to do they couldn't coexist, and that is how the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions were able to retain their belts. So I don't know exactly which way we're going, but I think that one's going to be an interesting one. I think to me, I kind of feel like there's an opportunity that we may see Doudrop and Nikki win, but who the hell knows? Legitimately, who the hell knows? We got Edwin Pacino who says, don't break them up. I don't know, guys. We know they break up a lot of teams. They already teased them having beef with one another. I mean, they could. Bobby C says Nikki and Doudrop, they needed someone credible, but not too credible to put them over. That's the thing. That's why I can't see them actually defeating Nikki and Doudrop, but we will see. All right, let's go ahead and continue on from here, guys. This was good stuff, though. It kept us on our toes in regards to watching NXT. All righty, moving on from here, we got the Schism. So I will tell you, I feel like the last couple of months, I haven't been totally sold on a lot of the stuff that Joe Gacy and the Diet and the Schism and whatever they're calling themselves every week. I haven't been like too hot for it, right? It hasn't really been my cup of tea. I will tell you this. I actually loved today's segment. I actually loved it. This was my favorite thing of the Schism so far. And I'll tell you why, even though there was some stuff where I was like, ugh, but it's kind of what we've grown to expect from them. All right. So Gacy and the Diet, they're out there. And here's the thing about them. When they start ranting and rambling, at one point, you just don't know what they're talking about anymore. So Gacy comes out and he basically says that Cameron Grimes, he needs to make a decision. They've offered him a spot. They've offered him an opportunity to join them. And this is it. He needs to pick now. Okay. So then he goes on and he has three little happy face pins, like the Mick Foley happy face. He has 3 little pins and he ends up giving them to the Diet. And he tells them this is where it gets a little weird. So ignore my terrible explanation of this, but this is where he tells them that this is what they've earned because they are now being recognized because they have climbed into a higher position on the Schism tree. So there's a tree now that they're climbing and it's like a better ranking. They're climbing up that tree and I don't really know anything about the Schism tree, but that's what they're doing. So congratulations to the Diet. The little happy face pins means they're higher up on the tree. I'm sorry. I cannot explain that any differently. That's legitimately what happened here. Okay, so that part was like, it was dorky. If you're into like dorky, cheesy stuff, then you might have cackled a little bit from that, but whatever. So afterwards, Cameron Grimes finally comes out and he basically says that he's not going to join them. He, doesn't need them. He doesn't need anybody to get to the moon. And then all of a sudden, Joe Gacy turns into Britney Spears. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. Joe Gacy turns into Britney Spears. Let me explain. Because he starts telling Cameron Grimes that his loneliness is killing him. He tells him, your loneliness is killing you. So anyways, that's what he tells Cameron Grimes. He tells him, admit that you're lonely and we'll leave you alone. Gacy then basically they exchange a couple more words, whatever. At one point, Cameron Grimes is like, I'm done with you. I'm going to leave, bro. So he starts leaving the ring. And then Joe Gacy takes things another level. He basically tells Cameron Grimes that he has nobody. And then he says, you don't even have a father. So for those of you who do not know, Cameron Grimes' dad passed away in real life, like legitimately. And this has been something that has been mentioned in quite a few of the storylines that he's been involved in. He's brought it up himself in promos. So this is something that has been brought up on NXT television and all of that. And so Joe Gacy basically tells him, you don't have a father. And that's not something everybody wants. That's not something anybody wants to hear, right? So this was where I started to get this is where it started to get good. Not really good, but good. This is the point where I started to get interested in this. And it was the moment that he said that. And Cameron Grimes got so freaking pissed, because as he should, and he just starts like going after them. And so they start fighting, right? So he's fighting the schism. And then he's about to go towards Joe Gacy, and instead, Joe Gacy grabs him and gives him a hug. And this was my favorite part, because Cameron Grimes was like, what the hell no, bro? I'm not going to give you a damn hug. So he like breaks away from the hug, and he starts like getting pissed and yelling at Joe Gacy and this and that. Oh, I thought this was so good. I freaking loved it. And this is why I'm actually looking forward to this, because, you know, say what you want about Joe Gacy and the character and this and that and this and that. He still has like something, right? Like he has something, like he still has a character. He's not like, it's not like vanilla. It's not bland or anything like that. He has a character. Well, for a lot of people, it may not be the thing. And a lot of people may not totally love it. At least he has something, right? And Cameron Grimes is really good at the personality stuff. And I kind of feel, based off of this, I'm kind of liking the personality, the chemistry interaction between Joe Gacy and Cameron Grimes, because I feel that both of them can take the character work to like another level for them. So I kind of like this. I really love this. I love this just really because of how angry Cameron Grimes got when he mentioned his father, and when he also had the nerve to like grab him and hug him after that. So anyways, this is working for me. Finally, I'm finally excited, because I feel like this is the first time where I've really been invested in something that Gacy has been doing on the NXT roster. So I'm feeling good about this so far. And here's the thing, I wasn't like 2-3 weeks ago when they first started this whole thing. I was like, no. Do not have Cameron Grimes join the schism. Hell no, don't go that direction. That would be awful. And you guys know, if you were hearing these post shows a couple weeks ago, I was not a fan of this. So today they made me into a fan of this, which is good. You know, they have to do that, right? Anyways, this was fine. Fernando Zaya says, this segment with Gacy is really interesting. Can't wait to see how this plays out. And Ed Jones says, I missed this whole part and it sounds hilarious. I don't know how else to how to describe any of this, guys. Saul P says, Joe Gacy was like, it's Britney, bitch. Oh, man, I love it. Alrighty. Edwin Pacino says that hug was unexpected. I believe Grimes when I see him upset. Bravo to the hug, Gacy. Leighton Illustrious says the actual match might be fun. I think so too, guys. I think so too. Someone wants to know, are someone asking about my t-shirt? I can't tell because someone says language. Hold on. Did someone just ask about my shirt? Ed Jones says, I think it says language 316. No, it says Los Angeles 316. I bought it when they did, God, what pay-per-view are they celebrating? Oh shit. Oops, sorry. Oh my God, sorry. Threw me off completely. My finger got stuck in my microphone. All right. It was during Super Bowl weekend. That's what it was. I was trying to remember, what the hell? Why was there a pop-up? WWE did a pop-up on, I believe it was in Melrose or something. And it was for Super Bowl weekend. And they just had they had like 5 shirts. Milky, they had like 5 shirts. Like, I ain't even gonna tell you, they had hardly nothing. But this was one of the shirts that they had, so I bought it. Because I kind of felt like, well, I drove like almost an hour to get there. I might as well buy something because I wasn't gonna get anything else out of that visit, other than maybe some selfies, some Twitter content. And I actually really like this shirt because it's in Lakers colors and, Austin and Los Angeles. I'm here for it. Anyways, but that's what the shirt says. Alrighty, so moving on from here, after this, we got a Netflix trailer. It looked like it was promoting a coming-of-age movie. That's actually a compliment, by the way. I really loved this like little video. package that they did for Roxanne and Cora Jade. They, basically recapped the feud between both of the girls, but I kind of liked it because it reminded me a little bit of a Nicholas Sparks novel, and rather the setting. Roxanne was in this very pretty place she was under, I think it's like a gazebo or something. I think that's the proper name for it. And, she's looking like, she's looking very profound, like something very life-changing is about to happen to her. That's the way that it was shot. I kind of really dug that. This was fine. Basically, it leads to Roxanne blocking the phone number of Cora Jade from her phone. And if we all know, that's kind of a big deal because nobody remembers anybody's phone number these days. But I like this. This reminded me of a trailer for like a Netflix movie. Good stuff there. All right, moving on from this. After this, we get another cameo. This one's from this one was like a virtual cameo. It was Pete Dunne, who's now Butch. And it was like a FaceTime call, and he's on there with Tyler Bate, and he basically tells him, you got to win this match against Braun Breaker. You got to do it for us. You got to do it for the British Strong Style. You got to, do it for this and that, and basically just encouraging him to actually win this match. So that was the Pete Dunne Butch cameo there. We got a match between Pretty Deadly, Lash Legend, and Josh Briggs, Brooks Jensen, and Fallon Henley. I am really struggling to get into this. I don't know why, but ever since Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen became NXT UK champions, they've become less interesting to me, which is weird because that's not supposed to happen. I think I was more interested when they were doing all of the other stuff with like the fighting in bars and trying to go after the girls. And they took a lot of that. Like their character to me has kind of gotten a little bit bland. And Pretty Deadly, same thing. At first I was kind of digging this like odd pairing with Lash Legend. But now I kind of feel like it's taking a little bit away from Pretty Deadly, where Pretty Deadly came in and they were this cool tag team and they were different and everything they did was different. And now they're kind of feeling like, I don't know, I feel like a little bit of their uniqueness and their character aspect was kind of taken away. So personally, even though Pretty Deadly gets the win in this match, I didn't care. I couldn't get into this one. This was the one of the matches that I just was not really vibing with all of that much. I like Pretty Deadly. I like Briggs and Brooks for the most part, but I don't know. I think it feels a little bit too forced with the Fallon Henley Lash Legend situation. With them, like, going at it with each other. It feels very forced to me. So I think that's the reason why I'm not really vibing with this. I think instead of adding to them, I think it's taken away from them. That's kind of where I'm at right now with this, personally. All right, moving on from this here. Let's see what else we got. We got Shayna Baszler. She comes out and she confronts Mandy Rose, who's the NXT Women's Champion, who's going to be in that triple threat match against Mako and Blair. I was like, Mako and who is it? Who's the third person? Anyway, so Shayna Baszler comes out and she basically tells her, you better win on Sunday. You got to do it for the brand. You got to do it for, everything, right? So it was fine seeing Shayna out there. Cool. Another one of the cameos. JD Mcdonough, big Radiohead fan. He's a creep. I hope some people got that. Anyways, JD Mcdonough embracing his inner creep. Good for him. If you're a creep, you might as well embrace it. JD basically starts telling Mackenzie that, every minute is accounted for in my life and blah, blah, blah. He's very intense. And do you know what it's like to have, I don't know, was he talking about his blood pressure? He was going on and on. The man's OCD. The man's intense. You probably wouldn't want to hang out with him, okay? He seems a little bit too much, too aggressive. But then he says, Wesley says I'm creepy. Well, I am creepy. That's what JD Mcdonough said. He's embracing his creepiness. There's nothing else to add anymore. He's creepy. He's feeling himself. Might as well. If you're born that way, what can you do? Oh my God. I don't know what to say. All right, let's get some comments in here and see what people are saying. Layden says he talked to her into wanting to be creepy too. Zeno Hour says he popped for the Radiohead reference. You're welcome. I used to jam out to that song in 5th grade because at one point we all felt that something was wrong with us and that we were all creepy. Really. Daniel Rodriguez says, I also think his gimmick is he loves pain and how he embraces it. Yeah, but like in a creepy way. Because if you're like, you could deliver it 2 ways, right? You could be like, I love pain. Oh, you know, those big muscular guys, I love pain. Or you could be like, I love pain. I don't know. It's a different kind of, I don't even know what to say. I don't know. JD Mcdonough has officially broken me with this creepiness. It's funny though. Honestly, I think it's kind of funny. I'm rooting for you, man. JD Mcdonough, I'm rooting for you. Be more creepy. You know, get into it. All right, here's the one part of NXT 2.0 that I did not like today. This was not it for me today, guys. Top to bottom, this was the 2 thumbs down, all right? If I had extra thumbs, I would throw them in there too. Charlie Dempsey versus Andre Chase. This was not good. This was the one thing I didn't like from today's show. Charlie Dempsey's NXT 2.0 debut. He's been in NXT UK, but if you're not very actively watching NXT UK, you're probably not really seeing much of, you probably weren't seeing much of Charlie Dempsey. Unless you were, then good for you. This was not the way that, how do I say this? I came out of this not wanting to see any of these people anymore after this. I didn't want to see Charlie Dempsey. I didn't want to see Andre Chase. I didn't want to see any of it. And because this whole match to me was like, I don't think I would have put this. I don't think I would have put Andre Chase as Charlie Dempsey's first opponent here. And I don't think I would have played out this match the way they did. First and foremost, so they started off with it being like, okay, so this whole match started because Charlie Dempsey took his class and he thought his class was too soft last week. So then they were basically promoting him as a guy that, is world renowned and has done this and that and this and that, and his accomplishments are so high up there and all of that, right? That's the way they were selling us a Charlie Dempsey. Okay, great. That's fine. It's totally cool. So then they start grappling at the top of this match. And it is not good. It's very, very, it doesn't look great. If you didn't watch this, good for you. If you did watch it, then I think you know what I was talking about here. It was very rough around the edges, and that's like the nicest way that I can put it. And here's the thing. They've been doing the Andre Chase character has been like a character that you don't take seriously on NXT 2.0. That's the way that it's been portrayed, right? You don't take him seriously. So then during this match, I'm thinking now I have to take Andre Chase seriously in a type of match that I've never seen him on NXT wrestle like this before. And first of all, I'm not even impressed because it was not good. So this was interesting. I feel like they lowered the standard. And I'm hearing myself as I say this. But they kind of lowered the standard of what I was kind of hoping for. I don't even know if I was hoping for anything here, but whatever standard there was, even if it was a low one, it got lowered a lot more during this match personally. At first I thought, well, if they're going to have, I was assuming they were going to have Charlie Dempsey win this match, right? So then I was thinking I would have preferred for him just to get a quick submission victory over Andre Chase and call it a day. But they didn't end up doing that. They ended up having Andre Chase win this match. And granted, it wasn't like a totally clean victory or anything like that, but it was just not, it was not good. I didn't have a good impression of anybody during this. Top to bottom, this was my least favorite thing of the night. And I feel so bad that I spent so much time saying that I didn't like it, but I really, truly didn't here, though. I really, truly didn't. All right, here we go. Let's see what else we got here. Let's get some good thoughts in here and see what people are saying. People are saying they didn't mind the finish here. YT says the fact that they booked Dempsey to lose was the tip of the iceberg with bad booking for that match. And this just wasn't for me, guys. This wasn't for me. And now it's going to, now I think they're going to have to, if They're going to have to work a little harder to sell me now on Dempsey after this. They're going to have to work a little harder because right now I'm like, ugh. All right. We got Zoe Starks versus Kiana James. I actually really liked this. I really liked this match. If they want us to like start really rooting for Zoe, they need to keep having her in matches like this because she was super impressive during this. I love this. There's a lot of things that she did in this that I was a fan of. Okay. And first of all, I like Kiana James too. I feel like there's going to be some potential there eventually. And I don't know. I just kind of really like Kiana James. She just, I don't know. I just instantly liked her. It was like instantly liked her. There you go. Some of the things that I liked during this match was literally just the aggressiveness that Zoe brings. But there was a moment where she gave Kiana an elbow. And that may not sound so major or anything, but I really just loved the simplicity of it, but also how hard hitting it was. It was enough to make me go, ooh, so I kind of really liked that. On top of that, she did like a running kick to the jaw of Kiana. Really love that too. She just needs to consistently keep having matches like this because they're very enjoyable. Eventually she ends up getting the win, and this was good stuff all around. I thought it made Zoe look really, really great. I was a fan of this all the way through. Afterwards, Nikita comes in and she jumps Kiana James from behind. That was whatever's. That's fine. Harmless. Nothing else to say about that. All right, let's go ahead and continue on from here. This is from Rhea. Afterwards, we got Rhea Ripley. She confronts Blair Davenport, and she has a great line here because she says, so she's basically telling Blair how, she held both championships, both women's championships, the NXT UK and the NXT Women's Championship. And, she's talking about all of that. And Blair, who's going to be part of the triple threat match against Mako and Mandy. So this was part of just the cameos and hyping people up for the big matches, right? So there was a moment where Rhea Ripley says, I'm a history maker. Hell, I help build both brands when I grabbed them by the balls and made them mine. And yes, she did do the hand thing. She really did. I didn't just add that for effect. Rhea Ripley really did. And I knew the second that people saw that was going to be an interesting social media thing because you guys know how people are on social media about Rhea Ripley. Anyways, but this was fine. I liked this little interaction. Good cameo. Happy to see Rhea there, and it made sense to have her there. So this was good. Nice little cameo. All right, let's go ahead and continue on from here. After this, we got the Creed brothers and Damon Kemp versus Gallus. This was another good one here. For the most part, well, I didn't like the ending. I've said this before, but I'm done with the whole Roderick Strong Creed brothers thing, a Diamond Mine thing. I'm done. I've been done for a while, and I'm still done. Like, if I was a piece of cake in an oven, I'd be burning right now because I am so completely done with this. I love the teamwork from the Creed brothers and Damon Kemp. Oh, I want to put over Damon Kemp here, actually. We finally saw some, like, real intensity from him. He came out there, and he was fired up, man. He was hitting like some brutal clothesline. He got coffee with like a bunch of freaking shots to the midsection. The man was fired up. And then that all got killed when Roderick Strong came out, distracted him, and thus cost them the entire match. Then they argued. All the teams brawled. And now we are going to be getting, and let me pull this up so I can make sure I have this correctly. At the end of the night, it was announced that we are going to be getting Pretty Deadly versus the Creed brothers versus Briggs and Jensen versus Gallus in a fatal four-way elimination tag team championship unification match. So this is going to be a fatal four-way match now at Worlds Collide. In terms of like what team I hope to see wins, I kind of want to see either the title stay on Creed brothers and have them be, the unified champions. But I would also really like to see Pretty Deadly get the win here. I think Pretty Deadly or the Creed brothers for me in terms of who I would actually like to see win this match here. And we got more people putting over Damon Kemp. Yeah, honestly, this was the first, I guess, like, he hasn't been bad or anything. This was just the first time that I think he really stood out. Like, he actually stood out today. I think that's what it was. It's not like he's been bad or anything like that. He's been fine. It's just that this time he actually really stood out to me, or maybe to some other people as well, but for me, for sure. All right, so after this, we got another cameo, and this one was from Tommaso Ciampa. He comes out and, talks to Braun Breaker, and, they've had their whole history. We already know the history between both of them. He's talking to him about Goldie, and then he starts telling him that, if Braun Breaker feels any fear, that it is normal and to embrace it when the bell rings, and he says to represent the title, add to the legacy, and tells him to win. So harmless, perfectly harmless. And now, before we get into the final segment of the night, really quickly, guys, I will be back here tomorrow for AEW Dynamite. It is the go-home show for All Out, so it's looking to be it should be a pretty big show, given that it's the go-home show to All Out. So make sure you guys tune in for that. I'm hoping it's a really good show. I'm hoping that there's lots to talk about. So make sure you guys come in tomorrow for AEW Dynamite conversation. But now, let's get into the final segment of NXT 2.0, which was actually a pretty good one. So Carmelo Hayes, one of my favorite people on the NXT 2.0 roster, he comes out and he's pissed that he has no match at Worlds Collide. He starts saying how he's the best NXT North American champion, that no one is on his level. The crowd, the CWC crowd, starts chanting Johnny Wrestling. And so maybe a couple people might have thought that Johnny Gargano was going to be coming out, but he didn't. Instead, Ricochet comes out, and I wasn't expecting Ricochet at all. So anyways, there was a good moment too, because you guys know the criticism that Ricochet has gotten for his promo skills, and the criticism that he's gotten for that. So right off the bat, Carmelo Hayes tells him, he says, quote, "Hey, look, Trick, he's got a microphone. I don't know if he knows how to use it or not." And then Trick is like, "Don't hurt yourself." I kind of like that. That was kind of funny. I like those little shots. So Carmelo Hayes, so Ricochet ends up confronting Carmelo Hayes. He tells them both to shut the hell up. The crowd starts getting behind that, starts telling them also to shut the hell up. They start arguing about who's better, and then Ricochet tells him he doesn't even remember any of Carmelo's reigns. And then afterwards, they basically make this match for Worlds Collide. So we are going to be getting Ricochet versus Carmelo Hayes at Worlds Collide for the NXT North American Championship. And I love Carmelo Hayes as a champion, so I don't want to see him lose the championship. But if Ricochet were to win, I'd be totally cool with that. So I'm really good with either option personally, but I really do like Carmelo Hayes, and I think he's been doing a phenomenal job. And if he were to get a win over Ricochet, I think that would be pretty impressive, and just, add a little bit to Hayes. We got a super chat here from Sheldon Jackson, who says, "Is it weird that I hope Tyler Bate wins? Because I'm so done with Breaker's title reign. I feel his reign has hurt the title so much. It ain't funny." Honestly, I don't want to say it's hurt the title. I don't want to say that. I really don't want to say that. I don't want to go that far as to say that. But and even if they were to have Braun Breaker still stay on the NXT 2.0 roster and have him lose, no, if they were to have him retain and stay on the roster and still be champion, I don't know. I think I would be okay with that. It's just more so that it kind of feels like the time is now, like my inner John Cena, the time is now. It feels like this is it. Like Braun Breaker should just say, sayonara. This is a real opportunity for Tyler Bate to win the championship and for Braun Breaker to go on and do something else. It just it feels like the time to do that is right now. So personally, it's not about not wanting to see Braun Breaker as champion. It's more so that I feel like I just want to see him on the main roster better. I think that's where we're at. But if he were to retain, it'd be fine. It'd be fine. It wouldn't be like, God damn it, why? That would not be the reaction from me, at least. But Sheldon, thank you so much for the super chat as well. So the matches that are taking place at Worlds Collide. Obviously, we have the NXT Championship Unification match, Braun Breaker versus Tyler Bate. We also have the Women's Championship Unification Triple Threat match, Mandy Rose, Maiko Satomura, and Blair Davenport. In terms of who's gonna win, I think they could either go with Blair or they're gonna go with Mandy. I don't think it'll be Mako. I think it's gonna be Mandy or Blair. And then we also got the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship match, which is gonna be Katana Chance and Kayden Carter against Nikki ASH and Doudrop, which we already talked about earlier. Either you're gonna have Nikki and Doudrop win and have them be on NXT, or they're going to do the whole they couldn't coexist and this is why they lost type of deal. And then we're also going to be having the Fatal 4-Way Elimination Tag Team Championship Unification match as well. Alrighty, everybody. There you go. That was NXT 2.0, August 30th. In the build to Worlds Collide. Before we wrap this up, everybody, return once again tomorrow for AEW Dynamite, and then I will be back here once again next week for NXT 2.0. If you guys like chatting about NXT 2.0, I'm here every Tuesday to talk about the show, and it's always pretty much a pretty decent time. It's even better when they actually give us something to talk about, and today they kind of gave us a bit, which makes me very happy. On top of that, guys, if you haven't already, please make sure to head on over to Twitter. I'm at _ Denise Salcedo, and I keep forgetting to put this thing up, but at _ Denise Salcedo. I'm almost at 80,000 subscribers. I'm really trying to get there. I feel like the last 2 months I've really slacked in my Twitter game, so I'm a little bit upset at myself. So I'm really making sure to hit the ground running for September. So please make sure to follow me if you haven't already. I'm very, very active. So yeah, go give it some love. And then also youtube.com/Denise Salcedo. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you back here tomorrow for AEW Dynamite. Bye, everyone.